So I'm here with my friend Wayne, who is an activist and an author and just a fierce bear around town. And Wayne and I were hanging out in a bookstore the other day, and there was an HIV/AIDS art exhibition going on. And I saw this one poster in particular, which had said, start an IV, hold a hand, pick out a coffin, bury your best friend, AIDS, tired of the routine, be enraged, become explosive. And I focused on the be enraged, become explosive part, and I had said to Wayne, I go, you know, it's interesting, I feel, maybe as well as some other radicals, that to be enraged and become explosive, you almost have to explain why you feel that way, or apologize for feeling that way this day and age.
I think there's a reason for that. I understand why people are still enraged, but a lot of people, I think, look and say, the situation has changed. The situation that poster describes isn't true anymore. The situation where you were burying friends by the dozen is a thing of the past, and so the rage that accompanied it should also be a thing of the past. I don't agree, but I think it's a large perception. There's a sense that in the history of gay activism, there's been a rivalry between the liberals and the radicals, and where the radicals occasionally got the upper hand and really seemed to predominate. Early 70s and again late 80s around the AIDS crisis. But a lot of gay people look and say, well, that made sense then. Even if I wasn't enraged in the 80s, I understood why a person would be. People were dropping dead by the thousands. It was at least a logical response. But a lot of people look and say, well, the situation's improved. We have better laws, better medications. People are living longer with AIDS.
The message is out there. The comments are there.
And we won. So why be enraged now? Things are pretty good. I think that's a prevalent attitude among a lot of gay people, and that's why they don't understand the rage that they might have understood 20 years ago.
And I feel like it's misleading because there's still so much room for rage and explosiveness, even without apologizing, without even explaining it.
Of course there is, but that's not the moment we're in right now. We're not in a moment anymore where the discussion is between liberals and radicals as to what the best tactics are to use to reach their common goals. Now we have all this access to power in gay America, and you have liberals and conservatives really having discussions inside places of power where they have great access about issues like the military, marriage, church, family. And radical activists, in as much as they still are sort of rattling the gates outside, they've sort of been left out of the discussion, where the people on the inside, the liberals and the conservatives, look and say, what are you screaming about? You wanted access to power? We have it. Just shut up and come inside. Why are you banging on the door? The door is open. So you have all these people who no longer understand what the rage is about, and they can't tap into it anymore. They've taken a different tactic now.
But it's misleading because, I mean, there's still so much room for rage and explosiveness, and the war is far from over.
Of course the war is far from over, but you have a lot of people who look and say, we won a number of battles, so I guess the war must be over. And there are a lot of people who, when they think that, they think it's time for the troops to go home, and they pull them back from the front lines. And that's why you see fewer and fewer people today who are sort of the rage-filled street activists, because a lot of people think the war's over. That's why they don't get it.
Right. Something to chew on. And Wayne, geez, what did I find in my hand here? Oh God, it's a copy of your book, Hard, which is about the sex wars of the 90s, based in New York City. Check it out if you can.